What's up, everyone? It's time for another Accountability Success Circle Success Quickie. This is number 48, how to add more time in your day. We're about to go live any moment now. So if you can just hit those hearts and those clappy hands and the support thing, whatever makes you feel good, let us know that you're watching. And this is a topic that I think we can all use. So we are about to go live. April, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm gonna count down, and here we go. All right, everyone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yay!
All right, what's happening?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Yes. All right. So it is time to jump on another quickie. How are you doing, April?
I'm good. I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm all right. And, I'm excited about this one because I feel like the things that we throw out are the things that we need. So I personally love doing them because it gives us an opportunity to think of strategies and research strategies that are going to help people just like you get more done while having more fun, because we are your success team for the Accountability Success Circle. I'm Gary Ware, and I'm joined by the ever so fabulous
April Schluter. I don't know what we have to point.
I know, right? Am I even pointing in the right direction? I think it's that way. That way. All right. If
Okay.
you need to point the other way, April. Point the
This
other
way?
way. Yeah. Now we're good. All right.
High five.
High five.
Ah.
There it is. All right. Anyways, so we have some really cool things that we're going to be covering about bringing more time in your day, because who could use more time in your day, right? So I think without further ado, we need to jump into it. And April, do you want to kick off our very first one?
For sure. So, as Gary was saying, we have to teach what we ourselves need to learn. And being somebody who likes to coin herself as the get it done guru, what I always hear from people is like, I have so much to do, there's never enough time. So if you ever say that, this quickie is for you. So number one, the first thing that you need to do if you're going to actually add more time to your day is first identify what's missing. Okay. So, when you're saying like, okay, if I had more time, I would do XYZ. There's probably a reason why you're saying that in the first place. But if you were to have more time in your day, then what would you actually do? And so this is a good opportunity to, this kind of is a good test to see if you saying like, I don't have enough time is like a legitimate reason, or if you're just saying it just to make an excuse, right? So if you were to actually be given an hour, 2 hours, 1 week of extra time, what would you do with that? For me, it was like, I would just clear out emails, as that's my biggest source of overwhelm right now. And when people say that they don't, that I keep on complaining that I don't have time to check my email. And so if I was given time, that's what I would do, because I know that would then lead me to less stress, because there's a lot of cobwebs that I end up finding in there when I'm doing stuff. So you want to ask yourself, if you had more time, then what would you actually do? And if you don't have something that you want to add, then what's the point in this? You can, shut this quickie off and be done with it, right? And just, be quiet and accept whatever you've got going on and focus on that stuff. But this is a great motivator to take action, right? Because if you're complaining that you don't have time, but then you never take action on it, if you don't know what you're striving to add to your plate, then it really gives you a perspective on whether or not that's, a legitimate complaint to have. And Gary, do you have anything you want to add to that one?
Yeah, you bring up a good point about the motivator, because when we jump down into number 2 and number 3, we're going to give you some actionable things that you can apply right now, and it will free up time in your day. This is the thing. There's this thing that our mentor of mine calls the vacuum principle, in that the moment you create a space for something is immediately going to get filled with something else. immediately. And the vacuum principle applies to all kinds of things. Think about the last time that you Marie Kondoed your closet. And I'm pretty sure, like, once you got rid of the things that didn't spark joy, and then over time, your closet may be full again. I know, for a fact that my wife and I, we moved into a new place in June. And prior to that, we didn't really have a lot of things because we had to downsize. But here we are 6-7 months later, and our place is full. So that is why it's important to identify in the beginning what you want to be spending that extra time. For me, as I'm transitioning into doing some different types of workshops and whatnot, I find myself saying, oh man, I wish I had more time to create content, or I wish I had more time to play around with this. That for me was my motivator to follow this recipe that we're going to throw out for you. And the cool thing is, the moment you create that space, you throw it in. So that brings us to number 2. Apryl, kick us off.
Which is gathering data and awareness. What I typically like to say here is that, while we can read every productivity book under the sun that talks about the best strategies and the best ways to make more time and be more focused and yada, yada, there is no better data than the data that you create on your own. So you have to figure out where in your day, because you are unique and different from everybody else, find out your own inefficiencies. Are you wasting time like not getting a good night's sleep? Are you just wasting time playing games? This is like I'm hiding my head in shame because that was me a couple weeks ago. Are you just not having a plan? Are you distracted by certain things? Like, what are all these inefficiencies? What are the things that are stopping you from working efficiently? Because just in that, you will have more time. But one of the things that I did recently with a program that I launched called Get Your Shit Together, we had all of the participants go through this time log experiment where you take about at least 7 days where literally on the half hour you're writing down what you're doing. Are you sleeping? Are you, watching TV? Are you doing a mishmash of things and super unfocused? Or are you watching a show? Are you, checking email? Just so that you can gather data and gather awareness about where you are putting your time. Because, productivity gurus don't necessarily know how you run your day. So you create the data and use that data to create awareness about what needs to change. So, as an example, one of the people in this program was like, wow, I'm spending a ton of time cleaning. And it inspired them to make change and say, maybe it's time to hire a cleaning lady. Maybe it's time to, delegate this to my children a little bit more. So this experiment can be the catalyst to finding more time in your day. But once you increase that awareness of what you can change, then you can actually start to create those pockets. And it's a great decision-making tool for you to, and it's not just like, well, so-and-so famous person said that I should do this. It's actually backed up with your own data, and your own data is the most powerful because it's your own data. So Gary, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, the big thing here is to point out that this is, may seem like busy work, and it may bring up emotions of like, oh, I'm doing this, or oh, I'm doing this. This is the thing. We can't make change with the things that we don't know about. If you were to, work on your financial literacy, if you're working with a financial advisor, they're going to say, where are you spending your money? Time is a form of currency. And a lot of these things are probably unconscious habits that we might have developed, especially, since we've been gone through like a global pandemic and things like that. I found, for me personally, I developed this unconscious habit of scrolling through news. It wasn't something that I had done before, but just with all that was going on, it started in like September, and then I find myself like, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And then, before I know it, my legs are asleep and I need to get off the toilet. All I'm saying is that sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it. And that's the whole point about this, is bringing awareness to things that we may need to shift. If you do this time audit and you realize like, oh, I'm good. All right, cool. Awesome. But most likely, I'm pretty sure you will find some stuff that you're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I spend that much time doing that.
Mhm.
And so that is a great segue into number three. Kick it off, April.
Create a transition plan. So, as we were saying, once you have that data, there's an opportunity to get rid of fluff, right? If you are spending way too much time on that game that you just cannot let go of because every couple hours you have to log in and make some moves, and it's killing your productivity, at that point you might need to make a choice to say, maybe I don't play that game all the time. I'm just using that as a personal example. You want to set new boundaries. And so if you notice that one of your time wasters is distraction because, your kids are, remote learning, or they just finished and they're doing their homework and they're bothering you, then do we try to focus on the kids and things that you can do with them? And then setting boundaries around the real deep focus times that you need to get stuff done so that you can make more time. Is there an opportunity to set habits so that you don't have to think about like, oh, I have to pay that bill. Oh, I have to pay that bill. You set something up like clockwork where it's, the 6th of every month, you go and take a look at your mint.com and see, how are we doing on our bills and what's due. Or, in the case of my never ending email inbox, do I set a time like at the, first thing in the morning for 30 minutes and just get through what I can get through. And then, anything extra in free time is bonus. So can you create habits, or can you set up a project plan for something that's like really big? Like, for example, I have a website rebranding that I'm working on. It's taking forever. It's basically been going on since COVID started. So, and it's just been sitting stagnant, but how can you create a project plan so that you can continue to make progress? So you want to try to figure out how to take some of these systems that experts have shared that might work well for you based on your data and start implementing those things and creating that transition plan so that you can get back on the horse, get that time in the day. And the only other thing that I want to say is, in terms of creating more time, you go back to that first thing that you said, I wanted to create more time for it. But when you look at your, data, and if you're thinking, well, there's nothing much that I can add here, this is where you have to kind of make a decision around, how important is this thing that you want to create more time for? Or is it something where right now it just needs to be tabled because your priorities and everything that is on your plate is just as important, if not more important, than the thing that you want to add? And, a way that you can kind of, create some space or some excitement about this thing that you can't do right now is to set a plan in place where, you clear certain things off, where maybe it's, a certain project that like you need to move out of the way, or a different priority that you want to phase out before you can phase the new thing in. So you want to be able to create that transition plan, but you can't do it without knowing what you need to fill the space with, and not knowing, and knowing what you want to do with, or what time in your day is not efficient. So Gary, close it out. What else is there that you want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to really highlight the whole point about creating space. And creating space requires setting up boundaries. And I know the boundaries word, a lot of times it has a negative connotation around it. Being that we are people that are overly optimistic, we like to look at boundaries in the positive, as in creating boundaries create space for more. And if you are trying to fit more time in your day so that you can do whatever that is that you identified in one, when you set positive boundaries, you are creating the framework to allow you to fill it with the things that are important. And if you need some tips on how to create boundaries, or thinking about boundaries, in a different light, check out Success Quickie number 36. That's where we covered 3 boundaries that you might not realize you need to create. And one of those, I'm just going to throw it out there, is you may need to create some play/fun boundaries, because a lot of times we get guilt and we feel bad about making time for play, and it's like one of those things. Like for me, if I don't have the proper boundaries, I'll just go buck wild. So I do it
Don't do
intentionally.
that.
I'm the type of person, if there is a thing of Oreo cookies, I will eat them all. Like they're gone. Like I can't tell the difference between one or a whole sleeve. So um, that's why I am a big champion of boundaries, because that gives you guardrails that allow you to do as much as you need to do, and that comes from like looking at play too. Of we know, and I'm the person that talks about play all the time, and play has a space in our lives, and we need to do more of it. But a lot of times we're not taking advantage of it the right way, and then we feel guilty, or we don't know how to turn it off because it's so much fun and it's so engaging and it draws us in. So that's the main thing I'm just going to talk about, is that when you start to create boundaries, you're actually creating space so that you can implant that thing that you actually want to have more time for. And maybe the thing you actually want to have more time for is play, or time with your family, or something like that. So,
or more sleep. It can be something super simple.
Right? Oh my gosh, so that we can go to bed at a decent time and get the amount of sleep that we need. So, those are our three tips on how to create more space. Was it what you thought? Yes or no? Leave us a comment. Let us know. Let us know what you are looking to create space for. And this is another thing, and then I'm going to turn it over to April, because she knows exactly what she's going to talk about. Is if you realize through all this that you need a community to support you on this, we got you. And so, April, tell everyone about the ASC.
Absolutely. The Accountability Success Circle is a community that Gary and I have been building from the ground up. Has been around for we're going into our 4th year. It started out as a small community, and now we're 300 plus members of just people who want, have personal and professional goals that they want to achieve, but know that they can't do it alone, and leveraging the positivity, the inclusiveness, the encouragement that comes from not just the success team, but the but the other members, just really fostering this community of accountability, and having people who have your back, and feeling seen and heard, and so you can get all of the support. And not only do we focus on helping people accomplish goals, but we also help them grow as individuals, just a little bit at a time, because we know that we already are stretched so thin, and we have so much to go, so much to do, and so little time, right? But this is a great way to be reminded of the ways that you can improve yourself as a person, which will then in turn help you become more productive and more happy, which is what I think we all want to do, because we want to accomplish things. We want to feel great about the things that we do in the world. So if you're interested in joining our community, please check out accountabilitysuccesscircle.com. When you join, we would love to say hi and get to know you if you don't know us already, and we'll do more of this type of stuff, where we talk about some really interesting things that can help us level up. And our theme this month, we have a theme every month, is expansion, and we'll have a webinar coming up in a couple weeks to talk more about that. So you get a little dose of personal development while you're accomplishing your personal goals and professional goals. So yay!
Yay!
So come check us out. Come join us.
Right? Exactly. So that is all that we had for this week's Quickie. Make sure you tune in for the next one. And again, we got your back, and we'll see you on the flip side.
All right.
So, bye, everyone.